Hi, this video is going to be the third part of the series that we're doing when it comes to doing shadowboxing, and this is going to actually be the follow-up for part 2, but it's not the kind of follow-up that you were actually expecting. Since you're actually trying to practice or incorporate the shadowboxing drill that we have previously discussed on the last video, the one-hit, one-counter drill, sometimes you actually need some kind of equipment for you to actually practice that drill. And so the equipment that we're actually going to use is the chair. So yeah, almost everywhere that you go, rather, or almost in any place that you would go into, you would almost always find a chair. Now, any type of chair would actually be good, but preferably the chair that you would actually use in practicing your one-hit, one-counter drill would actually be the chair that has no wheels, because it's actually much more stable, obviously, and it'll actually just be in place and help you do the kind of mobility practice that you would need in order for you to actually gain advantage, or at least incorporate the types of strategy that you're actually practicing in your kumite, whether it's practice, sparring, or competition sparring. So the way you're actually going to use the chair in this example, before I forget, the chair height doesn't really matter. If it's above chest level, it's actually preferred, but any type of chair would do. In this case, this chair is only up until my hip height, or if not my abdominal height, but it's okay because the drill that we're actually going to do with this kind of chair is also applicable to all kinds of chairs that you would find. As long as it doesn't have wheels, it helps just stay in place, and its use actually going to be mobile. So the way we're actually going to practice the drill that we just did from the last video is to place the chair right in front of us. Since most of the time we're actually going to face our opponent, especially during the start of the sparring match, whether it's practice or competition, and the kinds of drills that we're going to do is actually going to be assuming that you're going to evade or dodge the attacks of your opponent. So actually having the chair helps you imagine that you have an opponent in front of you. If you don't have a chair and it's your first time actually doing these kinds of drills, shadowboxing drills, most especially the beginners out there, notably the white belters, it's hard for them to imagine fighting against someone, and so if it's their first time, drills like this with tools such as this chair would actually help them imagine that there's an opponent or an obstruction in front of them so that they can actually practice these drills. So we go again to our stance. Again, as a review, going in front of the chair here, our stance would be like so, bladed. Our hips or our legs are shoulder width, if not a little bit wider than shoulder width. Our heel of the rear leg is lifted. Our knees are not straight, it's slightly bent. And our hands are on our chest like this. Okay? So this is our fighting stance, and since we're doing the karate sparring practice, our hands will actually be on the chest level rather. It's not going to be a normal boxing stance where our hands are closer to our head or our chin to protect our jaws, but in this case, since we're actually just hitting the chest level or the torso level, not actually the head per se, our arms or our hands would actually be on the chest level. Okay? So reviewing the fighting stance, the drill that we're actually going to do is to either move forward and move back. Okay? We're going to do the footwork first. So we place the chair here first so that you can actually see what I'm doing from the back. And hopefully I'll not fall in the pool here. So the first thing we're going to do is, like the same drill that we did on the first video, is to move forward and then back. Okay? Like so. Right? When you move forward, this is one key point so that you can actually not be quickly tired. and it saves a lot of your energy as well, especially if you're going to spar in a drawn way, where in round 1 it's a draw, round 2 it's a draw, and on the 3rd round you have that list more energy rather than your opponent, because you have saved a lot of it because of your energy efficiency. So here's where the heel on your rear leg helps. Okay, instead of just having both of your feet flat-footed like so, okay, you have your heel lifted up so that you can do that. Okay, the reason is that your heel is already cocked in, so to speak, so you're actually ready to move. You're not actually trying to step and lift your leg and step like the drill that you're doing like so. Rather, because your heel is already lifted, what you're just trying to do is to actually push off from this heel. Okay? You're not flat-footed because you're not going to actually lift both of your legs up. Rather, because of the lifting of the heel, you're just going to have all of your weight on the ball of your rear leg, which is this one. That's the ball of the foot. And when you feint by lifting your front leg, as if you're actually trying to do a snap kick, front snap kick, you put all of your weight on the ball of the foot on your rear leg and then just push off. See? So that's the first key point in doing this drill, whether we're actually going forward, backward, or left and right, or even pivoting like I just showed you on the 2 previous videos. Well, most of your mobility would be coming from your rear leg right here. It's not actually predominantly from the front leg, it's going to be predominantly from your rear leg. So the first one that we're going to do is moving forward and backward. Okay? The reason why you need the chair, even though you're moving forward and backward, was so that you can actually know when you're actually going to stop. At the same time, it practices you not to overreach. Because the tendency, especially for beginners out there, if they don't know, or if there's not a single obstruction in front of them, they're going to tend to do, instead of, they're going to, see, overextend, overreach. They're not going to be able to practice maintaining the stance when they're just staying in place. But if you place them and ask them to do the stances in a mobility drill like this, they're going to tend to do overreaching, and they're going to lose their stance placement. Their legs are actually going to be too far out or too little. Their arms are too extended. You want to correct those things as early as possible. That's the reason why you need some kind of tool in order for you to correct those, and so that you're actually going to help your muscle memory as well in doing the correct things in the long run. So that's the reason why we have the chair, even though we're just moving forward and backward. So again, the drill that we're going to do, like so. Okay? Push off from your rear leg. You can lift your leg for feinting, push off. Push off. Now for going backwards, we're actually going to do the exact opposite. So instead of actually pushing from the rear leg, like so, okay, we're actually going to push from our front leg. So lift, like so. Okay? As I do it in slow motion here, notice that I also push off with my front leg's ball of the foot. Very similar to what I just did with my rear leg. If I want to push off, say I'm close to my opponent like this, I want to make distance and I want to push off back, I can lift my leg to feint. See? I hit the floor by not having my entire foot be on the floor for me to push off. Rather, as I feint or lift my leg, I touch the floor with the ball of my foot, and then I push off backwards. Showing this in over exaggeration so that you can actually see the entire difference of having a flat foot with your lifted heel. So once again, see? Like so. You can do this kind of drill as I have showed you, where you can just then go back to your original position, practice that push off from your rear leg, and practice your maintaining the stance as you move and as you stop. Trying not to do an overreach type. So if you're going to strike, see, I don't do so, not this. I maintain my body structure, especially my whole torso, and just let the force of my legs push me off to be in place, and then I try to just do a punch right here with the help of the twisting of my hips and the landing of my legs thanks to gravity. So, going backwards, you can use your front hand or your lead hand to push off your opponent, or to use it as a parry in this case, if you're going backwards. See? Also, once you have reached the this portion, after you back off, notice that I'm in a variation of a cat stance. See? As I feint or lift my leg, front leg here, I land on the ball of my foot, and I can have the option of pushing off or parrying with my front hand. Not this time that I'm in a variation of a cat stance right here. See? And from this position, I can actually do whatever I want, since I still have a lifted heel on the front, on my front foot, similar to the mobility that I have with my rear leg. So once again, going backwards, like so. You can choose to lift your leg a little, or lift it entirely to actually bait your opponent to either freeze in their place or move forward, so that you can actually give them the illusion that you're trying to attack, or you're just trying to do something that they expect, and then you're just going to sight them, rather, to moving backward to create space. So, again, for review, first drill, moving forward, maintaining my body structure right here. I'm not overreaching. I just stop wherever I am, thanks to the push-off of my rear leg, and then I still maintain my body structure in the stance. Now the next part that we're going to do, because we're actually covering the footwork of this, is to actually do the 45-degree angle, and then follow that up with actually pivoting. For those who have forgotten or who want to review what the pivoting is, so go in front of again here, you're just trying to actually step on a cigarette on the floor and then twist your foot once to the direction that you're going. So if I want to go to my left here, I twist my front leg, and then I carry my rear leg to the other side, thus actually placing me on the side that I want to turn to. So I've already turned. Okay? Same thing on going right. I twist my front leg, raising my heel in the process, so I'm just using the ball of my foot, putting out that cigarette once, and then I follow the direction of my leg. Like so. Okay? Now going back at the chair here, it's the same purpose that we're actually going to do. But when we do that, we actually go into an unorthodox stance. So if you're an orthodox stance user, usually your right hand will be at the back, and that your lead hand, which is your left, would actually be at the front, like so. But if you're a lefty, or what a lot of people would call a southpaw rather, you'd actually be in reverse, where your right hand will be at the front, and since your power hand will be your left hand, it's going to be at the back, like so. But in this case, I'm going to show this on a right-hander's perspective rather than just a left-hander's perspective, so that you're actually going to follow much better and it's not going to be as confusing. So we practiced the front and the back. Now we're going to practice the pivoting. Now the pivoting in this case is not just going to be just twist here or twist here in place. Although that's actually good, what's actually better is to actually use a step first before you actually pivot. Now this is where the chair comes in, and it really helps in helping you view on what you can actually realistically do when you have an opponent in front of you. So instead of actually just pivoting in place, see where my chair is? The reason why you want to pivot is you want to get out of the way, and so that you can actually have the angle of attack that your opponent cannot counter you in. So what we're actually going to do is to step 45 degrees. Notice that when I'm in front, I'm in a straight line with my opponent, in this case the chair, but I don't want to be with my opponent. And if I'm just going to move forward and backward, sometimes my opponent's defense is actually much better than mine, and the only time that I can actually gain access to his body armor and to actually go to his weak side is to actually just go to the side and then try to hit from his side where he's actually really open, because he actually can't simultaneously block on the side and then attack at the front. That's the reason why we need a chair like this, for us to actually practice properly on how to step on the side, not actually just right on your left or on your right, but in this case it's going to be a 45-degree angle, either foot, but in this case we're just going to practice stepping with our front foot. So for right-handers we're going left. For left-handers, obviously you're actually going to reverse this template and you're going right. So in this case I'm just going to use the right-hander's perspective. Okay, move forward and back, and now our opponent doesn't want to budge, and it's a stalemate. And so the only time that you're actually going to take advantage of your opponent's weakness is to actually go to the side and then hit on the side. So we step left, 45-degree angle. So what it looks like is this. See, my legs are wider, and it's actually going to be quite uncomfortable at first, since most of your weight is actually going to be put on your front foot. You feel that your front foot is heavy. You know that you're doing this correctly when you're actually maintaining the posture of your front leg, and that you can actually lift your rear leg, like so. Okay, putting all of your weight here on the front leg. Okay? So we step 45 degrees. And then we actually practice the pivoting, where we actually put out the cigarette, but instead of putting out the cigarette with our heels facing this way, we're actually going to have our heel facing this way. But we're not just going to do like so. We're actually going to do it almost simultaneously. So what we're actually doing is, see, that's simultaneous. It's not going to be as slow as, although that's a good drill to practice on first if you're not used to it. But the end goal of doing the pivoting and getting out of the way of your opponent so that you can actually hit the side of your opponent and make that score is to, like so. So as we do that with the chair here, step 45 degrees with our front foot, twist our front foot, so putting out the cigarette once, like so, and then carry our rear leg back, and then we're back in the fighting stance. Although I landed with my rear leg with my heel on the floor and my front leg's heel is lifted, putting me in a variation of a cat stance again, or the back stance in karate, I can still go back to having my rear leg lifted on my rear leg, or my heels of my rear leg lifted, so that I can actually deliver that counter punch. Okay, once again, I want to go to my opponent's side. Step 45-degree angle with my front foot, and then I put out the cigarette using the ball of my foot, having my heel lifted off my front leg, carrying my rear leg back to the 45-degree angle. Either I can choose to maintain my front leg's heel lifted, or I can land with the ball off my rear leg's foot. So, okay. So in real time, it's going to be like this. So, and after you've done the pivoting, there's just a chair here so that you can actually see what you can actually do next after. You're not just actually going to be no. As soon as you see the opening, you're actually going to take that opportunity as quick as possible so that your opponent cannot react that fast. And you're actually going to get the score first. Your opponent tries to attack, but you're almost outside the tournament area. Imagine yourself being in that situation, and the only way is to actually go to his side. See? Once you pivot, I see the opportunity, I step through with my other leg, parry or check with my other hand, and then I do a counter strike already. Since I'm on my opponent's side, my opponent will not be quick enough to respond, because if my opponent attacks here and I pivot to this side of him, it's going to be too slow for my opponent to just switch like this. Or if my opponent is not ambidextrous enough, he still needs to go back to his original fighting stance, like so. And by the time he does that, he's too open. So even though I move like this, imagine that if I'm an opponent and it's you who's actually going to the side, once you go here, I can be hit and take a hit right here, and my opponent, or you take the score rather. Even if I go here, by the time I make my stance back, you have already received the score. So my opponent's open, say I attack, you pivot. See, that's how slow it is. Even if I make it as fast as possible. See, that's a score for you already. So that's the reason why it's very important to practice this kind of pivoting drill with a step 45 degrees. You're not just going to pivot in place. And that's also the reason why a chair, in this case, is a very good obstruction or a tool for you to actually practice your footwork. So once again, let's review, or rather I'm going to do a few of this so you can actually see the options that you can do. You can add head movement if you want. So there you have it. That's one way for you to actually practice the footwork drill that we covered on the first two videos. And it also helps you in doing your shadow boxing much easier, because a lot of times when you shadow box, it needs a lot of that imagination in mind. And when you use your imagination, and for a lot of people, especially beginners, who have not done any kind of sparring in their life, they can't imagine an opponent in front of them. And so a tool such as a chair that you can place in front of you is going to be a very good example when it comes to practicing your shadow boxing, and in this case the one hit, one counter drill, where you're just going to move once, create an opening once, and then just hit with your counter once, since that's the karate way of doing kumite most of the time. So thank you again for watching this video, and I hope that this has helped you even in the smallest way possible. If you'd like to watch more videos like this, where we actually push out or bring out instructional videos to help you in your martial arts skills, please visit our website, fmawarrior.com, and you can also check out the senseis or the teachers of the martial artists there that predominantly teaches karate and Filipino martial arts. Also, if you want to watch more videos like this, please subscribe to this channel. Again, God bless you all, always train safe, and take care.